How to avoid your plumbing pipes from freezing this winter. Now, back in February, many people in Texas were dealing with frozen pipes.
Pipes are freezing and breaking across Central and North Texas right now.
We were also dealing with a power outage. Thank you.
More than 600,000 total outages as I speak.
But the plumbers had nothing to do with that. So here's the deal. How do you avoid things like that happening? Well, if you lose power, there are still some things that you can do, but you need to know about it in advance. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Okay, now if you're new to this channel, or even if you're not, you've been here before, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on anything. And this is an important video. Make sure you share it with someone so they don't have these problems. Now, it's almost getting that time of year where we have to worry about frozen pipes again. Some of us are already going through it. We have just hit freezing temperatures here recently. So what I'm going to tell you is, first of all, how does water freeze? Well, water gets caught up in a position where it can't escape. Say you turn off a frostproof. Well, the frostproof actually turns back further in the wall. And if you have a hose connected to it, that water inside there has nowhere to go. That's why they say it's so important to disconnect the water hose, because then when you turn that water off on a frostproof, all that water should drain out. Guess what? There's nothing there to freeze. So then you're not going to have a problem. That is the good part. Now, the bad part is, what if it gets cold enough inside, you get colder inside and colder outside? Well, you could actually freeze the line further back than the frostproof. That's one of the problems that we ran into this last February. Now, don't get me wrong, it doesn't get down to 0 degrees very often in Dallas, but when it does, let me tell you, we're not ready for it. Today, I'm going to tell you 4 different things that you can do to actually keep your lines from freezing. So first of all, if you have plumbing on an exterior wall, open your cabinets. If you have, say, a kitchen sink on an exterior wall, if you open the cabinets up, that can let the warm air in your house or your office actually circulate through your cabinet. So that can help warm things up. Maybe you want to put something in front of your cabinet, maybe a heater far enough away not to do anything, or maybe just a fan to circulate some of the warm air that's in your house. But leaving these cabinets open can let that heated air get closer to the wall and hopefully closer to the pipes. If you have 70-degree air on the inside, 0-degree air on the outside, hopefully the space inside will still stay above 32 degrees. Make sure you stay till the end, because I'm going to show you the big flood that we got called out on. We ended up making the repair, but we got called out on while the customer was in Mexico. Yes, we got called out on, and they actually put it on CNBC.
I'm putting you on the news. I said I'm putting you on the news. That's what's hot.
And here's another thing that you can do. That same plumbing that's on the exterior wall, what if you left it dripping? Actually, when you get a faucet dripping, and it doesn't have to be running, it doesn't have to be a steady stream, but if you can get it dripping pretty good, it will actually keep that water moving to where it's harder for it to freeze. Now, I'm not going to say it can't freeze. I mean, look, we have rivers freeze up, so anything can still happen, but your chances, once you get that faucet dripping pretty good, that water is moving well enough that it's not going to freeze up. Now, when I do this, I put it right in the middle. I want it to drip not hot, not cold. I want it to drip both.
Right here. Not here or here so much, but right here.
Nope. Ship shape.
Because if I can keep that water moving, neither one of the lines will freeze up. Now, I actually have a bar that I installed upstairs. It has water lines going through the attic. So every winter, when it gets down to freezing, I know I need to go up there and get that dripping. Now, I have the lines well insulated, but I still want that extra protection. The last thing I want is a freeze break up in my attic. Now, one other thing I can do on those lines, I actually installed ball valves. So I can isolate those lines and turn off the pressure, but if I do that and open up the faucet, they can still freeze up, and I don't want anything to break. So I would rather just leave it dripping. This is really important for lines inside the house. On the exterior of the house, make sure you disconnect that hose like I talked about. You don't want to leave those dripping because you don't want a big pile of ice whenever you wake up the next morning.
Why did this single lot have a pipe leak? Why?
But just by disconnecting that hose, unless it gets down super cold, that water's going to drain out. You should not have any freeze problems there. If you do have that frostproof closed and it ruptures in there, you may not realize it. Problem is, you'll realize it in the middle of summer when you go to turn that hose bib on. I actually had a man send me a video one day. He had gone to wash his car in the driveway. He hooked a hose up to a hose bib, ran it through the gate, went outside into the driveway, turned on the hose bib, and started washing his car. Well, the problem is he had a leak inside the wall. When he came back in about an hour later, water was running out from under the brick ledge for about 40 feet. It had completely filled the cavity of that wall. Guys, that's not a good way to find it. What he had then was insulation and flooring that needed to be replaced all through his house. If you'll disconnect that hose, that one little thing right there can probably save you a lot of problems. Now, on that same frostproof, remember, and this is something you may want to order now, they actually make the styrofoam covers that you attach to it, pull it tight, and it sucks it right up to it. What that's going to do, that's going to help keep it a little bit warmer in there. Now, I'm not going to say it still can't freeze, but anything you can do extra, putting that extra layer of insulation on there, that extra layer of warmth, that's going to help you and hopefully help get you through winter without any frozen pipes. Now, what if you have a hose bib sticking up out of the ground? Those are a little bit different. They are full of water and there's really not a lot you can do about it unless your valve box is built to where it's got a drain on that line. So what I recommend is wrapping that hose bib with towels, maybe tape it. That way you've got the towels all around it and then put like a 5-gallon bucket over it. Then if you've got another big moving blanket or something, you can put over that. Anything you can do to protect it. The last thing you want to do is have that thing freeze and break and rupture and start spraying. So what is the last thing you can do? If you have pipes that you can get access to, maybe you've had a repair before, maybe you've had a leak that you've fixed before, you haven't closed up the wall yet. What if you wrap those pipes in heat tape and left the cord out? That way, every winter, when you know you've got a chance of freezing, you could literally go in and plug it in. The lines in the attic, I probably ought to put heat tape on those. I just haven't done it yet. Hopefully, I don't wait till it freezes to do it. Have you ever had a line rupture and bust and cause damage that just either put you out of your home or made it so bad that you had to replace sheetrock, flooring, and everything else? If you have, do me a favor. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what line busted. Where was it at? Was it an exterior wall? Was it overhead? What was it? I've seen people actually have to be out of a house for 8 months while it got rebuilt.
And master plumber Roger Wakefield warns things could get worse when the temperature rises.
The problem is once they start thawing, they're probably going to lead to freeze breaks. Then people are going to be rushing trying to turn their water off. Guys, there's a lot of things you can do to avoid that. And trust me, the things I just told you, those are some of them. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, if you liked it, please share it with somebody to help keep them from having the problems. I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the expert plumber. I'll see you in the next video if you don't get flushed.